Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to open our meeting this evening. It's really nice to see all of you out here, and to all our guests, welcome. Nice to have you here. If you'll please rise, we'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'll approve a motion to approve the agenda as published.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second that.
We moved and second that we approve the agenda. Any discussion at all? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion is approved. There are nobody has signed up for public comment, and we'll just go right on. The first thing we have in our information and items and reports section is our student recognition. Mr. Albertson, I will let you take over.
So I want to thank you for allowing Sandpoint High School to come here this evening and present, and this is going to be a little different. I'm not just recognizing students. I thought about, if I was sitting on a school board, would I want to hear me talk about what's great about Sandpoint High School, or would you want to hear from the students? And I said, I'd probably want to hear from the students. So tonight, we're not just going to recognize these students, they are the presentation. So you're going to be hearing from them, and they've prepared a slide, and they're going to talk about what's special about Sandpoint High School, or what Sandpoint High School means to them, or what they get out of Sandpoint High School, and where they're heading after that. So, and you're going to see a big variety. Out of 1,000 students, I picked 9 students. Sometimes I just ran into them in the hall and said, oh man, this is great. You could have different 9 students here. This is an awesome selection, but this is just a representative of all aspects of Sandpoint High School, and that's what I wanted this to be tonight. So, moving on, I just want to preface a little bit about Sandpoint High School. As you know, we're going to undergo our accreditation here in about 3 weeks. Last year, we were kind of re-looking at things and said, what is our vision statement? And I had a conversation with Superintendent Woodward, and I said, well, why would our vision statement be any different than what the district's vision statement is, where we talk about it all the time in admin meetings, to provide high-quality instruction and learning for every student, every day, in every classroom environment. That's what we strive for. It may not happen all the time, but that is where we're striving. Makes sense to me. As a whole teaching staff, and thank you, we have a great representative of teaching staff here, we looked at revising our mission statement. I shouldn't say revising it, but just auditing it and saying, are we living up to our mission statement? And what should a mission statement be? And we came up to mission statement should be what we are doing. Not what we want to do, but what are we doing? And after a lot of feedback and input, this was staff driven, and we feel that we create a caring and safe learning community, encouraging academic, social, and personal growth, providing a foundation for college and career readiness. And I hope tonight in your presentation, that's what you see here. So, what is special about Sandpoint High School? Real simple. Very dedicated teaching staff, and it's the students. So, starting tonight is a first student. Tori emailed me at about 3:30 today. She said, Mr. Albertson, I was ill over Thanksgiving. I did not come to school yesterday. I tried to come to school today. It didn't work out. I'm so sorry. I wanted to present, but can I give you what I wanted to tell the school board and have you present that? And I said, absolutely. So our first student is Tori Hewitt. This is a picture of Tori in her office at Cachaba. She's a high school student. She has a paid internship. She's been there for 1.5 years. This is what Tori presented. I am a participant in several clubs at Sandpoint High School, including the Cyber Patriot Club, president of the National Honor Society, Business Professionals of America. I went to Nationals last year in Dallas, Texas. I took all of Mr. Alex Gray's information technology classes, and I have an internship at Cachava for about a year and a half now. In addition to all my clubs and activities, I've been taking college classes in addition to the classes our high school offers, and next year I will transfer to college as a sophomore. Sandpoint High School has helped me find my interest and has helped me get into a job that I am passionate about and that I enjoy. The counselors at our school, specifically Geraldine Meyer, work with me multiple times a year figuring out what classes I need to be taking to get me ahead in college, and I am so grateful for that. My parents, Travis and Jenny Hewitt, have also helped me and really encouraged me to further my education beyond high school. So, Tori really wanted to be here, but this is her in an office in Cachava as a high school senior, pretty special. And here are some pictures as part of these tech interns that basically help the district keep the technology going. And that's on the left, and on the right was the Business Professionals of America. Mrs. Neiman, I know, is here, and this was a group that went to Dallas, Texas, and presented. So anyway, that is some things that Tori Hewitt wanted me to present. Next is, I'll introduce Ryan Conrad.
Cute.
Uh-oh. Broken time.
It's one master.
Freestyle.
Oh, that's better. Yeah. As soon as it's up.
Hi, my name is Ryan Baumgartner, and I'm a senior at Sandpoint High School. And let me just say that, having not seen that first slide, this is going to segue really well. When Mr. Albertson asked me to do this speech, I was really excited because through my new radio program, the 3 O'Clock Rush, it's weekly with KRFY, I've gotten the chance to sit down with many of the clubs, classes, and sports teams at our high school, and let me just say, there are many.
Yeah.
There really isn't an excuse to not be involved. And that's really important to me because as I start to fill out college applications, I'm starting to realize that it's not just the kids who excel in the academics. Colleges are also looking for well-rounded individuals who are involved with working together and also involved in the community around them. I've been involved in the chamber choir all 4 years at high school. I've taken a couple trips with them, and I've also taken a trip with Mahdi United Nations to New York. One thing that those trips really showed me is fundraising, how hard it is, and the rewards you get for being dedicated. I got to keep track of what turned out to be about $45,000 last year, and I kept track of that per student, per event for our choir trip. That was an experience. I had the best grade I've ever had in math last year, and that was thanks to Mrs. Search's flipped pre-calc class. I've never done that well, and I really believed in the program so much that when I heard she was going to expand that to Algebra 2 honors, I asked if I could be her TA. Now, I don't just grade papers and enter grades. I go up with the board, work on some problems, help the students during their homework time, and she wrote a recommendation letter to me in which she said that sometimes she feels like there's a second teacher in the room, and I'm very proud of that. It has given me a whole new experience as to a little bit about what teaching's like, let me say, whole new respect. But also just working with students from a different perspective. Another thing that I'm really grateful for is that I have been given the opportunity to take a practice SAT test every year in high school. And when I say given the opportunity, I kind of mean forced. I didn't want to take it. But now I'm really grateful because I have had 3 extra tests under my belt before I went in for my first test day. And I didn't take the test score I got on my SAT day. I actually took 3 more. But those first 3 tests that really helped you understand what a 6-hour test is like and the types of questions they ask, that kind of practice is practice that I probably wouldn't have gotten on my own. And I'm really grateful for that. Now, I only got to talk about a couple things, and there are many things we're doing right at SHS. But these were just a couple of ways that I thought that SHS preps for success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. Hi, my name is Corinne, and tonight I just wanted to talk about some of the really unique opportunities we have at Sandpoint High School. I'll speak to some of them. I'm in Math Club. I'm the president. I'm in National Honor Society as vice president. I was in academic decathlon last year, and for a brief time my sophomore year, I was in the fly fishing club. I had never actually fly fished, but I did see the Brad Pitt movie, A River Runs Through It. Therefore, I feel like I'm a very qualified member. As you can see behind me, I really wanted to talk about Cedar Post, which I'm the editor-in-chief of this year. And Cedar Post, if you don't know what it is, it's our school's journalism and multimedia platform. So what we do for Cedar Post is we put out newspapers. And we publish things to our website, shscedarpost.com. Sorry, I had to have the plug in there. On a daily basis. And we just have a really unique opportunity to report on what's happening in the Sandpoint High School community and the Sandpoint community at large. So Cedar Post is really unique to me because it's taught me a lot about what being a good leader is. It's a lot more than just delegating, and I've learned not only through my successes, but also through my mistakes. At Cedar Post, being a leader, it's about working with your staff and working with all the writers and sitting down and laying out goals that help the Cedar Post staff be successful and really help us be successful as a publication. Our advisor, Mr. Love, is really amazing. For the most part, Cedar Post is a very student hands-on class. Mr. Love steps in and he guides us when we need it. But he does let us work independently, which is really a challenge. Cedar Post is like being a student and having a job, but it's an opportunity that I'm really grateful for and something that you maybe couldn't find at other schools. So that's just what I wanted to talk about tonight. It's really been a big part of my high school career and helped me become the person I am today. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, lawyer.
At Sandpoint High School, my programs, about work and civil work. My heroes and my heroes, Iron Man and the Flash. My friends, and my friends here.
Yeah. Got it, buddy.
Yeah. My friends, Hulk of a King.
What was it like being homecoming king?
And King, cow,
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah. Get pictures?
Yeah. Many pictures.
What was it like standing up there? What was it like standing up there?
We are a picture.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next is Jack.
Okay, so hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm a senior at Sandpoint High School, and I'm a part of choir, acting, drama. I'm the president of Interact Club, which is a volunteer group at the high school, which is usually does stuff with Rotary. It's a Rotary-based club. If you don't know what that is, it's just they volunteer, and I know plenty of you guys from that anyway.
Yeah.
But so being president with that club, I'm really able to get out in the community and just meet new people and really get a feel for how it's going to be when I'm an adult, when I'm going to be working with adults that I need to respect, and I do respect, and how I just should be with my respective adults. So another really, really big part of my life is acting. And so in this picture, this is me in a red wig. I didn't dye my hair, don't worry. This was our production of Shrek that we did last winter, and I was Fiona. And the year before that, we did Once Upon a Mattress, which is like Princess and the Pea. And I was Winifred, which is the princess that sleeps on the pea. And that is just such a great experience for me and for any other community member in Sandpoint, because it's like all ages included. So 8 through 18 can be in these plays, and we do about like 3 months of working our butts off to get about a 2-hour-long musical that we showcase for the entire community. And it's just such a great time for us drama kids and choir kids and even dancers to just show off our talents, because usually we don't get recognized for that. But at Sandpoint High School, I feel like we have more opportunities for us to be showcased. Every assembly, usually the choir will sing the national anthem. And so it's a great time for all of the students in the audience to just see us and see what we've been working on and just hear our beautiful voices together. And we also have like Battle for the Paddle, where we have the basketball and wrestling. They do their sports things, and then we have a lip sync battle where we dance and we have to compete to see who's winning. And then we have like a rap battle. So anybody who can beatbox, anyone who can sing, who can rap, always gets to participate in that. And it's just such a great experience for us to compete in a way that our school can cheer on for us. And it just feels so great. This weekend, actually, Adele and I, we're going to state for drama. So we're going down to Twin Falls. I am triple entered. So with drama, you create a piece. So you can take a piece that can be a serious, it can be like a humorous or anything, and you and a team can create it. And Huntress, or Mrs. Hunter, what we call her is Huntress, she helps us to get to the point where we can compete and show off our abilities. And then we go to state every year usually, and I've gone for the past 3 years. So I'm really excited to do that as my senior year, and yeah, can't wait.
Hi, my name is Aiden Ackerman. I will be talking about the welding class that we have. The welding class is very, very cool. I really like it. It's one of my favorite classes. We have 3 years of welding at the high school. Usually as a sophomore you go into welding 1 and you learn the basics, the safety, all the tools, and then after you pass that, you go into welding 2, usually as a junior. And in welding 2, you have more independent class work, you have more projects, you work more independently to show that you're ready for welding 3. Because in welding 3, we do projects for the community. Community members present our teacher, Mr. Stark, with projects such as this swing here that is a handicap swing for wheelchairs that will be put into the park behind the animal shelter out in Ponderay.
Great.
So usually most community members will come to our teacher and they'll present a project. They have a budget for us. Some community members will give us a certain amount of money, then we buy all the materials, we build it, and then any extra money goes towards the class. So this project, we got it at the beginning of the year, and each class we split off into a group, and then we have separate projects. One group is working on an outdoor table for Joel's restaurant. Another group is making a palm tree for Joel's restaurant. Our group consists of me and 2 other kids. We are doing the swing, and so originally the designs were wood, and they wanted it to last a long time. So we decided to change the design some. We made it all metal. We're going to be putting wood as the platform. And we are hoping to be able to get it done and put it into the ground after winter, after the ground is frozen. And this class is preparing us for an actual job, or if we continue on in college, do welding. And out of this class are so many experienced welders, and I feel like the class is growing a lot. We have more and more kids going into welding 1 and welding 2, and hopefully we'll have more kids in welding 3, because it is an amazing class.
That's great.
One more thing, my Eagle Scout award, I did my project, and it was a longboard and skateboard locking rack for the high school. It is out in front by the bike racks. I just finished that, and I will be hopefully getting my award here in a few weeks. So.
Nice. That's awesome.
Nice job.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so hi, my name is Michaela Chapman, and I am a junior at the high school, and I'll be talking about the 3D design class that we offer. So I was in 8th grade. I got the opportunity to go to LPOSD, and I got to check out their architecture and engineering programs, and I never thought about going into those career fields before, and I got so excited. I was so amazed at like how interested I was. And then I learned about the 3D design classes, and that was just like further grew my interest, and I was like, I'm gonna take this class. So I got into the high school, and as a freshman, it's only a 1-semester class. And so we start off with table drafting, and then we get on to the computers, and we use online programs like Chief Architect, where we actually build houses and stuff. And at that point, I was set. I was like, this is what I'm going to do in the future. This is what I want to do. And I was so disappointed it was a 1-semester class. I was really upset. And then sophomore year, we really jumped into things. Not only did I get to learn how to design a house, I got to learn about interior design and what the different parts of a house and what it would take if I was an actual like builder, like actually building it. And I had so much fun. And this was actually a project we did at the end of the year, passive solar design. So I had to design a house, and then I had a certain amount of terrain that I had to also design, and then I also designed the inside of the house. So this is what the outside of the house, this is the floor plan, and this just shows the house itself and the terrain. And I designed all of that. And in freshman year, I didn't think I was going to do that. I was like, I saw floor plans and I was like, wow, that is really complicated. But through the help of this class, I've really been able to learn that this is something that I can do myself. So this project was really difficult and I struggled a little bit, but after it was over, I felt really accomplished. And that was really due to like the students in my class. They were all really helpful and we worked together, and especially the teacher, Mrs. Meshka. She has so much knowledge and she gets so involved with the students. And I feel like if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I'm really grateful to her. So this is the outside of the house. So, and I don't have any pictures of the inside of the house. But everything in there is decorated. I designed the pool layout, everything, the terrain. And so the passive solar is basically, I designed a house that uses solar energy to lower heat costs and kind of lower the normal housing costs. And it's just like a house that's way better for the environment. And actually on the other side of this house, I even designed a herb garden that's attached to the kitchen that you can actually walk out into and get fresh vegetables and stuff. So I am just so grateful to the high school that they have this program. I know a lot of schools, these kids don't get this opportunity. This is something that you learn when you get into high school. And at the NIC Roadshow, which is something that happens every year, I talked to an older student there who is just learning about these programs and how to do this. And I'm already, as a junior, know how to do all of this. And I'm actually in a dual credit class right now where I'm working on AutoCAD. And so I'm already getting some college credits. And it's just been an amazing experience. And I am so grateful to the high school that I'm able to do this and that I know what I want to do when I get older.
Great.
Hello, I am Adele Marchiendo and I am a senior at San Juan High School this year. So I've been involved in NHS and drama, as Jasmine was mentioning. We're off the state this weekend. I'm taking a technical theater piece this year. So a friend and I have constructed a set of articulating wings. So they open and close based on a pulley system. And we're really excited to make it to state. I also assistant directed the fall play this year and have loved my involvement with the community that is theater. However, what I really want to talk about tonight is academic decathlon, or academic. And now, as a theater person, I know I'm not supposed to turn my back on my audience, but we have some pretty great jackets, so.
Nice.
This year, we're setting the 60s, hence you see rockets and picket signs and the Beatles.
Yeah.
Those are funny. So Academic is essentially a group of nerds. And what I really love is that it takes learning, because we are in-depth studying. It's a decathlon, so we have 10 events. We study the economics, the architecture, the art, the music, the social science, all the different aspects of this one topic, and get to really dive into it. And it takes learning and studying, which seems like a solitary event, and makes it a team effort. So here we have our state team from last year. We were studying Africa and made it to nationals. So this is right after we learned that we were going to nationals. We were laden down with our medals.
Yeah.
I believe we came in, presented a quick slide about that.
Yeah.
Cheated.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cheated.
Yeah.
So we lost. Remember we lost when they
That's
did
right.
the quiz and they won?
You were
Oh, yeah,
annihilated.
We were,
Yeah.
you killed us. We were close.
We had an advantage in studying.
You already
here.
knew.
So what I really appreciate about San Juan High School is that I have the opportunity to find community. In Academic, I have my group of nerds. In theater, I have my group of performers and techies. And I love the community that we have. Additionally, through our counselors, Geraldine Meyer helped set me up with a community tutor, Linda Larson, who helped me boost my PSAT score. I got a 1460 and out of 1520, and qualified to be a national merit semifinalist. So I'm hoping to get results on finalists sometime in the future. And I'm just so grateful that we have that community connection in the small town of Sandpoint that allows the high school to reach out and be part of the community. So thank you.
All right. Hi, I'm Casey Olson, and first off, when I was asked to come up and speak to the people that are in charge of those grading their papers.
No, we're not, sir.
What are those A's? Well, like to first start off, as a junior, I was our captain of the wrestling team at San Juan High School, and I realized how much of an impact I had on the people around me and the underclassmen and the people that looked up to me. And I realized that I needed to better myself as a person just to also better the people that looked up to me. And so as a senior, I decided to join the mentors group, like get a class of, as a mentor at Sample High School, which is also, we lead a class, like our connections class, where we pretty much just have the freedom to like teach our own group of kids about how to become a leader, how to just like spread happiness and become a better person all around. And to better myself as a mentor, I decided to go to the first mini Ryla group at like lock-in at the high school. And it's hard to explain like what really went down in that because it's Ryla, you don't really talk about what happens in Ryla. But,
What does it stand for? What does it stand for?
You
don't have to tell me, it's a secret.
It stands for Rotary Youth Leadership
Oh,
Association.
boom,
Yes,
right there. It pretty much just taught me to become like a better leader and just all around listen to people, what they have to say, hold a good conversation with others, and also speak in front of others. And like it's pretty like it used to be pretty hard for me to do this, and before I'd probably be stuttering a lot. And even in front of my connections class, it's helped a lot. I can see the benefits of just from how people act in my connections class. From before, I used to be a little nervous, and when I first started, like I was a little nerve-wracking, and like I could tell everyone else in my class could tell. And just from then, from going to the mini Ryla, I could tell that I was a little bit more open. And just this last class, I got up on the desk and I was speaking to the kids, and I made some pretty good points about how to spread happiness and kindness to all the other kids. And like one of the kids in my class, like I gave everyone cards and I told them to give me some advice, or give me some like things that I could give them advice on what to change about St. Paul High School. And one kid said that the freshman class stunk. And I mean, what are you really supposed to say about that? But the kid pretty much rose his hand and said that it was him. And I asked, like very cautiously, I asked why. And he said that they are just like all around annoying and don't listen, are running like amok across the halls and like never listening to anyone. And I walked over to him and I told all the freshmen to raise their hand. And about 7 to 6 freshmen raised their hand. And I told them to walk over to him and I told him to stand up. And I told him to circle him, and they pretty much, I told him to give him a hug. I told everyone, okay, go sit down. Never laughing, it's all fun and games. But I asked him, so what'd that feel like? And he was like, well, it was kind of weird. I felt like I was in trouble for a second. And I was like, well, like how do you think they felt when you like said that about them? Like you're kind of making a broad statement about a very large amount of people. And he pretty much kind of just realized what he did, and he said sorry. And that was like I know that he didn't really mean it. But it was good to like see someone that in my class kind of just realize and like take a step back and see what he was really doing, and like how like these broad statements can really change what people do. And just through that, and like through mentors and my sociology teacher, Mr. Bishop, I just have realized how much like just my actions and my words can really affect others. And that's really all I have to say.
That's great.
All right, so perhaps the first part of the assignment, I believe, was what makes Sandpoint High School special, and they are sitting right here. So again, I want to give them another big hand. I'm not going to take much time on the second part that was given, and that was what are we doing to improve learning at Sandpoint High School? And last year, we're on our second year of professional learning communities, and I want to thank the teaching staff at Sanford High School for buying into this. Really, it's simple. Here's 4 questions, and every week, and I want to thank you, the school board, for allowing us to have Wednesday afternoons to work on these 4 questions. But really, when these 4 questions are answered, we know student learning is happening. And it's that simple. And sometimes I think we make things way too complicated. But what do we want students to learn? Do we have a viable curriculum? Are we all teaching it? Do we all agree? Is this based on what we should be teaching with fidelity? How are we measuring what we're learning? Do we have common assessments? Are we giving students the feedback they need? What do we do when students haven't learned it? That's a hard one. This year, question number 3, we're spending a lot of time on question number 3. It's not easy. And also, what do we do when they have learned it? So those students that are ready to move on, what are we doing to excel them? And you can see that we've got a lot of opportunities. So really, that's what we're doing in a nutshell to improve learning at Sandpoint High School. Now, within that question number 3 that I said is where we're doing a lot of work, and it is hard work, is positive relationships in the classroom. Our teaching staff, if they don't have that positive relationship with the students, learning is not going to happen. Number 1, got to have that. Partnering with the students, the parents, and the teacher. That partnership has to be there. And multi-tiered support system in each department. And I'm not going to bore you with reading you this slide, but basically here's a model that every department will be filling in on the right-hand side of things that are very specific to their department, not just whole school and learning. So in a nutshell, that's what we're doing to improve learning. And new opportunities, I think you heard the students tonight saying new opportunities at Sandpoint High School, or opportunities at Sandpoint High School, is what they thrive on. And over the last 2 years, here are just a few. I know this isn't an exhaustive list, but last year we added AP Chemistry. That was based off of students and parents saying, hey, we want more. We want some more chemistry. Can we do an advanced placement? Absolutely. We'll get a teacher trained. Let's go for it. We are leading, we're one of the leaders in computer science, University of Idaho dual credit. We do a computer science 112 out of University of Idaho. Nan Brothers and now Dalton Hawkins are both teaching that. And we're to the point where we're ready to say, okay, what's going to be the second computer science course we're going to offer, not just one. Sign language, we added sign language. Parent-teacher conferences last week, I had a parent stop by and go, hey, got a question for you. Is there a way that we can get a second year of sign language in next year? So we're going to have to look at that. But I mean, it's a great world language there. Performance psychology, we added medical terminology into our health program. The STRAP program, School to Registered Apprenticeship programs, trying to get students out into the community to do more apprenticeships. So anyway, those are just a few of the new things, and that's the presentation tonight. And I want to just thank you for giving us this opportunity. So, great job.
Thank you. I would like to call each student individually up here in the order that they gave their presentation to be able to meet the board, and we'd like to shake your hand. Ryan, you're first. And don't go too far because we'll get a picture.
Yeah, great job. Great job.
Corinne?
Well done. Yep.
Great job. I'm already ready.
Thank you.
Laya?
Good job.
Oh,
Yeah. Good job, Laya. Good Thank you. Good job. Jasmine?
Congratulations. Good job. Keep it up. Good job.
Keep up the good work.
thanks, Jasmine. I think you're here.
Katie?
Nice work. Yeah. Good luck. That's very impressive. Thank you.
Good job. Michaela?
Good job. Yep. Glad you found your passion.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It was really great to hear.
Adele? Good luck. Congratulations.
Thanks, Adele.
Casey?
Good job. Would you like to say?
And I'd just like to say, it's great meeting you, and I
Yeah.
thank your principal for bringing you here, and it's really a pleasure for us. This is tremendous.
Yeah, I'm going to add that it's meaningful when the students are there. I never cry when you are just presenting talks. So,
Maybe for
yeah,
different reasons.
thank you.
We'll try to get a picture.
Did you guys want to just go behind where they're at? Or
Oh, sure.
Well, you can
I was trying to the entire time. I know, it was so bad.
Sorry, my regular camera's broken, so I hope this works well. Yeah, right in the middle, Lonnie. Perfect. Okay. All right, everybody smile. We're gonna do a couple. All right, one more. Hold on. My lighting is being weird. Go lighter, lighter. There we go. All right, there we go.
We're going to continue our business meeting now, and those of you that aren't interested in that, thank you.
Thank you. Really fun. Thank you.
Good.
Next, we're down to action items, and the first thing we have is a consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion is adopted. Next, we have the maintenance and operations supplemental levy deliberation, and we'll listen to our superintendent, I hope.
Yeah, so Lisa nor I have anything additional to present this evening. We took a lot of your time at the last meeting, but we just figured you'd want to have some time to discuss further what we presented or ask any of us any questions. You do have in front of you the overall budget that was shared last week or 2 weeks ago.
We'll open that up for discussion. I don't have anything to start off with. Any questions from any board members?
So it's 25 million, two-year levy, right? 12 million for the first year, 12 million 9 the second year, 25.3 total. And this includes basically everything that we have supported in the past, which would include rural schools, lower classroom sizes, technology, curriculum, maintenance. But in addition to that, we're putting into the levy this year an increase, for all of our staff across the board. Correct?
Yes.
Right.
Approximately 13.2% increase across the board for all certified and classified staff.
And that's dependent upon what the state's able to do. But last week I was able to share with you some comparison districts for our teaching staff, and those are more the harder numbers that we could present. But the bottom line was to ensure that we were regionally competitive, and I would like to mention, against my better judgment, sometimes I look at social media because people like to take screenshots and send it to me and say, hey, wait, do you see what they're saying on social media? So I have to pay attention, that's okay. There's a little bit of confusion, and one of the confusing things that is being said is that we are trying to compete with the Spokane School District, Newport, Meade, etc. We used Meade and Newport for comparison purposes only. We're not asking to compete with them from a salary standpoint. That's far too high. We cannot do that. We're asking to be regionally competitive with Rathdrum, Lakeland, Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, and to get.
I appreciate,
so
Sean,
that
that
we
you
can do
brought the Spokane school districts into the discussions, because we do compete with them.
Yeah.
For staff, absolutely.
Well, our staff, right, you're,
Yeah, and the big difference that I wanted to make, and
the difference
I
is
know
that we're
that.
not trying to get to that salary level, and yet we do lose teachers to that district.
And as a reminder, we're looking at, for our top attainable teacher, to get up to the $70,000 range. Meade is will be up in the $98,000 range. So again, there's some thoughts that we were trying to go up that high.
To me, the disparities in the salaries are just shocking. I mean, at the lower end of the schedule, they're 40% above us, and as we move up the ladder, the gap widens, and at the top end of the schedule, they're 60% above us. And then in addition to that, I think we've made the point that their benefits are more generous than ours in many cases. They live in a state without income tax, without grocery tax, and in the rural districts, the cost of housing is less than it is here.
Yeah.
Well, I'd just like to say that obviously looking at this, the biggest increase that we have is for our personnel, for our teachers, for our staff. They're underpaid. I think we need to do more for them, and that's reflected in this. And I will say that the increases that we have do not include the superintendent. They do not include our chief financial officer. But I think everybody else will have some raise.
Yeah.
I look at this from a different lens from I work in private business, and if you want the best talent, you have to pay the person. And it's noble to say, yep, I want to go home to my small town and be a great teacher because I had a great teacher. Well, it's nearly impossible to do that because we have a really high cost of living, and that's not changing. And we can't pay enough to live here. So when you've got regional competition is one thing, but if you're a single 24-year-old who just got out of college and you're ready to enter the job market, and Wyoming and Oregon and Texas are offering giant bonuses, you can't compete with that. And I'm not saying we should, but I'm saying that we have to at least be on the same ball field. We have to pay, in order to recruit and retain talent, you have to pay talent. And it's shown over and over again with all of our metrics. What's important with student achievement is quality of teachers and programs. If we don't have the curriculum and the teachers that are dedicated to implementing it, then our test scores are going to suffer. And we're on a good trajectory. We need to, expound on it. So I think this is.
I agree with. I think this is, personally, I think this is very modest, but I support this wholeheartedly.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It sure is.
So, Mr. Chairman, the only thing, only reservation I have, I would like to move that we table this for at least one board meeting, because I would like to publicize this in the community, using our website, using the media, that the board is going to vote on this and try to solicit some community members to make some input on this before we make our final decision.
Fine. There's a motion on the floor, so is there a second to that?
Can I ask a question? Oh,
We'll
second.
discuss
I'll
it.
second his motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we table this for 1 week so that we can get the word out and maybe get public comment and so forth, discussion.
Yeah, to what extent have we already published this information? Because we had this same content at our meeting 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When we got our full presentation. So am I correct, it's already on the website and has
Yes.
already gone out in the a
Both-
newspaper.
Both the Bee and in the newspaper.
And it both said we would be discussing it tonight, correct? So I like your point. I do know that the entire community knew and had the opportunity to come tonight, and we were hoping there would be
Well,
some
I-
public
I-
comment, so it's,
I'm going to give them a second chance, and I'd like for us to even make a bigger effort, to reach out
And say that we're-
specifically say that we're welcoming comments on the proposed supplemental levy in the next meeting.
Let me just ask this, time-wise, does that, originally it was scheduled to have a final decision by our next meeting.
right.
So
By
I
our
don't,
next meeting, not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we
good
have
with
enough
that.
time.
and I think it's wise to get the word out, and anybody that would like to make a comment to be able to come here and do that, they see it, they've been given plenty of word. I agree with my colleague here that it's been out for a couple of weeks, but if it's not inconvenient, one more week is fine.
Yeah.
We'll go out and we'll try to get people. coming
It'll
in.
be in 2
Two
weeks.
more,
at a
two,
time.
next meeting, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion on there to postpone this for 1 week. It's been
2
moved to
weeks.
second for the next meeting, which will
Next
be in 2
meeting,
weeks. All those in favor of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? That motion is adopted, so we will table it till next time.
Okay.
Thank you. The next agenda item is we have requests to proceed with an RFP for wireless equipment for multiple schools. Matt Brass.
So currently all sites in Lake Monterey in the last 4 years have been upgraded to Cisco Meraki wireless access points and switches. We are actually in a really great place with a lot of our technology. We're starting to get to the point where we're pretty responsive instead of reactive with it. So really what this RFP is to go out and ask for equipment to replace some of the ones that are starting to get old and to fill in the gaps that the first project didn't hit. So we have a few places at each school. There are maybe 4 or 5 classrooms that don't have an access point in the classroom. We'll have a skip of 2 or 3, so we'll have a little bit of a dead spot in the middle. So we're wanting to put those access points in the empty rooms. And then we have some access points out there that are Cisco 16s, and they've already upgraded to 33s. And so we have, I think, 32 new ones we want to put in, and then the rest of them up to the 78 that we're asking for are for replacements. To just keep everything, now that we have everything where we want it, each year we want to roll through and do replacements as needed. So the RFP is to go out. It's going to be under an E-rate project, so 70% of it is covered by the E-rate federal program. And that'll mean that out of the technology budget next year, it'll be roughly between probably $17,000 and $18,000 to cover the cost of the equipment and the installation and cabling.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any questions from the board?
As I read from this, you will have, it's already in your budget,
Yeah.
the 18,000.
Yeah, it's in your budget, right?
Yeah.
This is in your proposed budget here that we have in front of us?
Yeah.
For the levy?
Yeah, but there's as I make the budget for next year, this is a line item I already have set aside.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve this request.
I move that we approve this request for the technology director. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the request to proceed with an RFP for this equipment. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion's adopted. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Next, we have the second reading for policy 2400, special education revision. Kelly?
So there were no questions or changes to, or from the first reading that I presented at the last board meeting. So I just,
Any other questions? In that case, we'll entertain a
So
motion. to
I'll
approve.
move we adopt the revisions to policy 2400, special education.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve policy 2400 as it was revised. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion is adopted. Thank you. Next, we have information items and reports, and we actually have something to report.
That's right.
The ISBA conference took place a week ago, and the three of us were down there. And I asked Geraldine if she could give us a briefing on the items that were put up for discussion for proposed resolutions. We discussed them before we went down there informally, and maybe you could give us a recap just briefly on the disposition of those.
I will. So we had some resolutions that ISBA presented to us on that final day, and I'm just going to read how we voted and whether they passed or failed. And as you know, that simply means ISBA, if it passes, will take it forward to the next step to the state level. So it's not like we passed it and it's
going to happen.
part of the budget. It just means we're recommending they take it forward. So the first resolution was salary-based apportionment for classified salaries, and we all voted yes, and it did pass. And the second resolution was reducing the supermajority on facility bonds down from, that 67% to anything lower, and we all said yes, and it passed. Executive session, that was on reducing the simple majority to go into executive session in the event that there are vacancies on your board. We all voted yes, and that also passed. The next was funding for full-day kindergarten, and we voted yes on that, and it passed resoundingly also, so I'll be presenting that. The sixth one was the opposition to public funds diverted to private schools. It was yes, we all voted yes on that, and it did pass. Yeah. Okay, that's basically the one that you understand as like the Blaine Amendment. Right. And so we voted yes, and that passed. Then the next one was amending school age statute for flexibility, and that was amending that age you can go into kindergarten, 3 or 4-year-old. And we were split on that. The board members who were present were split, so we split all of our votes. And although we were split, it did pass at the session in Boise. So the next was the school construction and property tax relief. Although there was a lot of discussion around it, our board group felt that ISBA should take it forward simply from the standpoint of keep raising the awareness of this issue at state level. However, it did not pass at the full ISBA level, so they won't be taking that forward. For a variety of reasons, there was some discussion on it back and forth. So that was the only one where we said yes, and it failed. There was the next one, a recourse for charter school renewals, simply allowing them recourse if for some reason their chartering district doesn't present the paperwork in time, and that was an easy one. Yes, and it passed. The next was the strategic plans and reporting requirements. Also, we voted yes, and almost everyone in the room voted yes. That's just to simplify accountability and reporting requirements.
Some of the reports were duplicated.
Yeah, to kind of get rid of some of the duplicate accounting that they're asking every district to do. And then the final one we voted on was threats on school grounds and responsiveness to threatening violence on school grounds. And we voted yes on that, as did the whole ISBA group. So what that means is that ISBA will draft some,
Take this to the legislature.
take it to the legislature, which, happens in spring, in January, February, so that's where that stands.
Well, thank you very much. And I might add that we have a senator-elect in the audience, Jim Woodward, and we can just give this to him.
Exactly. Welcome, Jim.
That's my to-do list?
Yeah. Easy, they're all easy.
Also, I'd like to ask those that were there, maybe just one takeaway thing that they have, and if they were down there, that they can bring back to us. And we'll start with Gary.
I was very shocked when the comparisons of the school districts, the Department of Ed came up on the screen in terms of what the assessed valuations are for the school district and the total tax rate. They showed a worksheet where they took all the assessments in every school district. This would include supplemental levies, maintenance levies, permanent levies, building levies, bonds. Some school districts even have permanent operating levies. When you add up all the levies in the districts, we're very low. And I was shocked. The other thing I was shocked at is the assessed value, the assessed valuation of all the property within our district. Lisa reported recently that Bonner County went over $5 billion. Well, $5 billion puts us in the top 5 in the state. The 2 Boise districts are $20 billion. Coeur d'Alene's 10. Blaine County's 9. And then there's us at Nampa, which are about the same. So it kind of surprised me that we're bigger than Idaho Falls, we're bigger than Twin Falls, we're bigger than Pocatello. We have more assessed property valuation within this district than communities that I think are much bigger.
Yeah, thank you. Weldon, what would you like to impart?
It was hard to pick a takeaway, but we had sessions. I brought this booklet. Anybody who wants to borrow it and just browse, it's great reading material. We had sessions offered 2 different days, and I was super impressed that we have our clerk presenting to the entire group there on one of these sessions, and she's such a well-respected clerk. We are lucky in the sense that she is extremely knowledgeable. She covers our backsides on a lot of issues, and so I was super proud of Kelly during her presentation down there. I also, one of the sessions I went to was leadership through communication, and it was interesting to hear other districts talk about how when you want to share the message of your district and you want to inform your community, you have to say it over and over and over, and about when you're sick of saying it is the first time they've heard it. I remember that going, every district deals with that same issue. You think you're telling the community, but you really just have to keep saying it, which makes a good point for putting off our vote on this, facility or this levy, supplemental levy for another 2 weeks. Give the community another chance to hear us say, hey, come be informed, put your word in. Anyway, it was great. And thanks, Kelly, for presenting. Thank you.
Yes, I will go along with that. We appreciate it. My takeaway is in 2 days, there were 73 workshops.
Yeah.
You can imagine how many rooms it takes and the expertise and experience you need to put on 75 workshops on various topics. And they all got it done, and you could choose which ones you went to. And it was very well organized, and I say I was just impressed by the experience and expertise of people that are there.
And we generally did not go to the same workshops.
Yeah, we tried to split it up.
Between all of us, I don't know how many workshops we covered, but quite a few. But they were all, excellent.
Really good.
Yeah, it was really.
You wish you could have gone to more,
Okay. Announcements. Superintendent.
Sure. So we had our kind of the reputation of having no school November over the years, and due to our parent-teacher conferences and a grading day and then Thanksgiving. So as you all remember, we worked with Brian Smith and our teacher and our staff gave us a lot of feedback, and we tried something different this year. We condensed those days kind of into 1 week as much as we could. Yeah. And anecdotally, and we're collecting data right now, it appears that we were worried about student attendance at our conferences last week prior to Thanksgiving. It looks like we had very high attendance rates at our conferences. Again, I'll share that data once I get it all back. And then from an attendance standpoint, we were worried we would lose a lot of attendance on that Monday prior to Thanksgiving and it looks like it was a wash, but that's not final yet. But I'll bring the hard data back to you also. And then Brian will also administer a survey to our staff to get their feedback as well. But by most accounts, it seemed to work pretty well.
Great, thank you. Let's see, any board members have any announcements? Tom, do you have anything?
Just, you heard tonight, I think you got a lot of announcements tonight already, but so the drama team is heading off to state this coming weekend. Next week, we are going to, sponsored by the Hope Walk and Underground Kindness, we do have a guest speaker coming into the high school and the middle school, Mike Smith, and it's again part of just the social emotional goals that we have. We'll be talking about following your passion and some things, so that'll be the next Wednesday, and then the week after that we do have our accreditation review team coming to town, which will be a six visiting administrators throughout the state that'll be coming into Sandpoint High School for a 2-day review. So we're busily preparing for that right now. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Lisa, do you have anything for us? Any other? Okay, in that case.
No, wait, I have one more announcement. Last second. Gonzaga beat
Zach
Duke.
beating Duke.
Just wanna say-
Yes, go Zags! All right.